So having a virtual banquet, it's not an ideal situation. Hopefully this is one of the last COVID-related things that happen for us, and next year we get off to a fresh start and not have issues like that. You know, the banquets are important. I think it's very important to recognize kids and recognize their efforts for what they do for the program. It helps build the program, so I'm glad we're at least able to recognize them in this way. Always start out with thank yous. You know, a season happens and is successful because you have a lot of people that are willing to help. You know, so I want to recognize those people now. First, want to recognize our booster club. They give us funds and different things during the school year that help make it a success. I want to thank all our parents. You know, obviously, without your children, we would not be able to have a season. We would not be able to play, and just appreciate the opportunity to work with them and all the support, meals, food, travel gear, everything. We have a great set of parents. We have a great set of kids, and great kids come from great parents. I want to thank our cheerleaders. This year in particular, they were very, very important. There were several games, or at least one game, in which they were about the only people there cheering. So, you know, Ashley Nigaman and the cheerleaders did a great job for us. It's a very long season. I want to thank multimedia students and Ron Gates for all the pictures and videos. You know, they put some on, they put a video together. They've done a lot of things that help promote the program, help promote our kids, and you know, rarely get much recognition for that, so we do appreciate all the things they do. Again, the multimedia department and Amy Gray and the tech people, including Cindy Murphy. You know, this year with COVID, not all loved ones were able to come and watch games, so you know, without them, we would not have been able to show those games to the loved ones and everyone. So very, very fortunate to have really good people here at Girard. I want to thank the boys' parents. They were, again, you know, when you have a limited number of fans, it was nice to have them at the games, and I thought both sets of parents cheered equally for the other kids and helped try to create as good an atmosphere for basketball as possible. Thank Mr. Hunley and the band. As always, again, you know, in this situation where you don't have a big crowd, you know, the band did an excellent job of making it feel like maybe more people were there. I want to thank our administrators. Our administrators are always supportive of us coaches. Mr. Byer, always, if there's resources needed, we'll provide those resources. Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Swartz, Mr. Curran. You know, this year, again, you know, schedules were made, schedules were changed over and over and over again, and they showed great flexibility with all the stuff that happened, and I appreciate everything that they did for us. I want to thank our managers, Jalen Samuels, Jariah Adolph, and Kaylee David, who over the course of the year at different times helped us. You know, being a manager is a thankless job, and they did it very, very well. You know, never complained about all the stuff they had to do, and really helped out. I want to thank my fellow coaches. You know, it is a great amount of pride for me to have two former players as assistant coaches. Jessica Ripper, you know, if you don't know, her husband is in the military and has been away from home. I call her Wonder Woman because she is, you know, in all the demands that I've had as a coach. She works a full-time job and still is taking care of her children. So I think that sacrifice is an unbelievable one, and one that does deserve recognition. Hayden Gufferson, Coach G, you know, I still call her Hayden Herlocker, but you know, she's a college athlete, could be possibly coaching at the college level or in other places, and wants to come back home and help, and I can't tell you the great amount of joy that brings me to have her helping. I want to thank my family. Season is tough. And my wife Emily is we got several team moms, and she would be one of them. Made a ton of meals this year. She always makes a video for the kids as well. And then, especially after losses, has to put up with me, which is quite a bit. So, appreciate all that she does for me, and the things that, kind of get unsaid throughout the year that at this point I want to recognize. Now I want to go ahead and get into the actual team, and players that will be receiving participation certificates include Jaden Finley, Bailey Bradshaw, Regan Poland, Bethany Herlocker, Riley Brooks, Peyton Brooks, and Jaden Hawkins. Players receiving letter winners this year: Hayden Buckley, Emmeline Sinnecott, Danica Lopez, Bailey Troike, Mackenzie Dressler, Olivia Cullen, Faith Poland, Kinley Smith, Serena Short, Michaela Osmus, Brooklyn Talley, and Jada Valley. Okay, it's always at this point, usually in the banquet, if we were at it, that I would talk about some of the individual accomplishments. It is very much a team game. The statistics, as I name off these people that received awards, I think it's very important to point out that we were as balanced of a team this year as I've ever seen. And some of these people receive these awards, but I always look at when any recognition that we get is team accomplishments. And though sometimes it's one or two players named, they definitely would not have been able to do it without everyone rowing in the same direction. Statistical categories, I usually just kind of gloss over and tell who led in different categories that I feel help make a basketball team be successful. 2-point percentage. I never really deal in overall points. I believe strongly in offensively, basically offensive efficiency, and so percentages, shooting percentages is kind of what I go by as I do this. Not who shot the most shots or whatever. It's actually the percentage that they shot at. And people that, being quite honest, it's not always our best shooters that lead these categories, but it's probably definitely people that are taking the best shots for them. So 2-point percentage at 50.4, Olivia Cullen led us from the 2-point category. 3-point percentage, Michaela Osmus shot at 31%. We actually had 3 players over 30. A couple other were right at 30. So probably our best and most efficient year for shooting the 3-point shot, and helped us win a few more games probably. Free throw percentage at 87.5, Faith Poland. Each year she has improved that. I think she's led us in that category every year that she's been able to play for us, and each year that has gotten a little better and a little better, and she's got one more year left, so we'll expect that to maybe hopefully push over the 90 percentile, putting a little pressure on her. Rebounds. Olivia Cullen led the team with 161. Next closest was underneath 100. So Liv was truly an inside presence, both defensively and rebounding in every aspect you could possibly ask for. Assists, Jada Valley. She was our playmaker this year. She led the team with 58 assists, although as a team, we got better and better as the year wore on. Steals, with 38, Kinley Smith led the steal category. Blocks, Olivia Cullen had 19 blocks, led that category. Category that I usually don't hardly ever mention because no one has over 1 or 2, but I think this year it has to be unbelievably recognized. It's an unbelievable accomplishment. In 23 years of coaching, I've never seen something even remotely close to this performance. Olivia Cullen had 18 charges over the course of the season. That is just an unbelievable, almost averaging 1 per game. And that is a play that is so underrated. You get possession of the basketball, it's like a turnover, and and the other team loses that opportunity, and there's so much that goes into it momentum-wise and then also as teams figured that out, fewer teams wanted to drive the basketball because Liv was always there to be ready and in position to take that charge. Final statistical category, and I think the most important one for overall offensive efficiency, is the assist to turnover ratio. Assist to turnover ratio, to be quite honest, early in the season was not very good for us. As a team, it was something we really struggled in, even though we were having quite a bit of team success. I think every player over the course of the year improved their assist to turnover ratio. And we consider 1-to-1 is kind of the standard, especially at the college level. But you hope you get as many people. You can usually tell what kind of season you had by how many people have the same number of assists as they had turnovers. This year we had 2. Again, leading the way, Olivia Cullen. She had 30 assists and only 29 turnovers. And then Serena Short was completely 1-to-1 with 23 assists and 23 turnovers. So I want to recognize all of those players. Now, the media does select players and give players recognition, and so I want to go over briefly here some of those awards. The CNC League, all league selections were made, and again, these are awards that I think for our team, they're hard to give out. We have so many kids worthy of being recognized, and so many kids, I feel like, especially this year, played as a team. Receiving honorable mention was Jada Valley. Second team, all CNC, Olivia Cullen. And first team, all CNC, was Faith Poland. Eastern Kansas Sports had an all-state team. Both Faith and Jada Valley were recognized for that team. Sports in Kansas, an internet-based media, had one as well. And honorable mention was Olivia Cullen. And second team for All-State Sports in Kansas was Faith Poland. The Wichita Eagle also recognized both Olivia Cullen and Faith Poland as honorable mention All-State, and the Topeka Capital recognized Faith Poland as an honorable mention and All-State player. Probably the most coveted awards that we hand out are the team voted awards. These are awards that are voted directly by the team. The team votes for these, and the players recognized. If you get one of these awards, you are recognized by the team, and I think the players seek that out maybe more than anything. In this case, there were so many, and I think it kind of played into what I've talked about several times. We were a true team, and so there were lots of cases where 4 different people got votes for these different awards, which some years you just don't see. At the JV level, we had the practice hustle, and it is kind of what it sounds like. The player that in practice comes every day and works hard, always gives their best effort in practice and hustles in games. And this year's recipient for the JV was Bailey Troiki. The defensive award for best defensive JV was Haley Orender. The most improved award at the JV level, and I thought everyone improved over the course of the year, but Jaden Hawkins received that award. She's a player that comes, and she was very close with the Practice Hustle Award as well. Comes every day and works very hard for us, so very proud of her for that. Sportsmanship Team Spirit Award, someone that accepts their role on the team, no matter how big or small it is, also shows sportsmanship in games. And this year's recipient is Bailey Troiki. And we ended up with the MVP, Most Valuable Player, We ended up in a tie for that between Danica Lopez and Riley Brooks. So congratulations to all those girls. At the varsity level, same identical categories to speak of. The practice hustle player this year, and you know, she probably would also win an award for, you know, the person that was on the floor after a basketball or flying out of bounds after a basketball. The practice hustle award this year goes to Brooklyn Talley. The best defender award for the varsity goes to Kinley Smith. You know, I do want to recognize Emmeline Syndicate and Serena Short, who also always had, seemed like, the toughest assignment, but Kinley Smith did get the most votes this year for that, and she, you know, she led us, I believe, in steals and was always around the basketball. Also, one of our top rebounders. Most improved, and this was one that was hotly contested as well, but it went to Danica Lopez. Danica Lopez, really, you could just see the growth in her from the beginning of the year to the end of the year in every aspect of her game. We are very, very excited about, if she continues to grow it at the pace she is, what kind of player she'll be next year and going forward. The Sportsmanship Team Spirit Award goes to Mackenzie Dressler, and she received a landslide victory on that. Mackenzie, you know, has a lot of spirit and always seems to have a smile on her face and a joke for the team, and kind of kept our spirits up all year long. So a very deserved honor there. And our most valuable player, and there were multiple people that were in the running for this, but our most valuable player for the varsity level this year goes to Olivia Cullen. You know, if you look across the statistical categories, you could have made an argument for a lot of different kids with that. Obviously, she led us in a bunch of statistical categories, so she you know, made that, and again, it's voted by the players. If I called off your name, please come see me, and I will get you a certificate for the individual awards that you received and had. You know, just very, very proud of those and everyone that got them. Okay. Briefly, before I'm done here, I want to just talk a little bit about the season. COVID-19. You know, what can you say about this year? Crazy year. Talks of starting after Christmas. Talks of there were no parents at the first game. For us personally as a team, we had I think 8 varsity players quarantined after the first game, and you know, I had the kids raise their hands at the end of the season. I think we had 3 or 4 players on the team that they did not get quarantined. Everyone else on the team at some point was quarantined or missed some practice games because of COVID. So just an unbelievable amount of adversity facing our team, just in every respect a different type of year. But despite all of that, we probably had the most wins. You know, if and some people do, I don't personally, but some people do count wins as the most important thing for a successful season. At the C level, if you will, we were able to get in 8 games, and the C team had a record of 6-2. The JV team had a record of 15-2, which was unbelievably impressive. And again, you know, a lot of the same players played both C and JV, so very, very impressive. I think at those levels, some of the highest records, best records we've ever had. At the varsity level, we were 18-4. We were Wilson County champs. We tied for CNC champs, and we were sub-state runner-up. You know, I think for me personally, success for a season goes well beyond wins and losses. I felt like this group, more than any group that I've had for a long time, maybe since that 2017 group, kind of became a family. Were we a perfect family? Absolutely not. There were, you know, things that happened over the course of the year but I usually judge a year by how the kids treat each other, and overall I thought the kids treated each other very, very well. You know, I do appreciate, you know, all the players and all the thank yous. I didn't mean to live, you know, the players out with the thank yous. You know, they were a great group of kids to work with. It was fun. You know, Josie came to practice from time to time, and you know, she, for a couple weeks after our season was over, was asking to come to the gym and to see the girls because she was treated so well by all the players. And like I said, we had just a great family atmosphere this year. I want to thank our seniors, Ozzy, Brooke, Jada. I have no doubt that they're going to go on and do great things. You know, we did and were, you know, tied for CNC champs. That's, I think, nine CNC championships in 15 years. So they become part of a legacy here at Girard that, you know, years from now will probably be talked about. You know, it goes up on the banner. So when they come in the future and watch games and basketball games, they will be able to point to this year and say, hey, we won a CNC championship that year. So that's something that can never be taken away from this group of kids. You know, to those still coming back, to our returning players, you know, the question always remains, what will you do to get better this offseason? Okay, the cold hard facts, you know, Colgan got second in the state, Frontenac got fourth in the state, and both teams only lose a few players. So they have an unbelievable number of players coming back. What are we going to do to change the outcomes there? Obviously, we did get a share of the CNC champs. I don't like to share things. We did not make the playoffs. You know, this, despite all of our success, the season, I think, ended sooner than any of us wanted. So it really comes down to, what are you going to do this offseason to outwork those teams and to outwork the whole league? We have a very, very tough league that we have. So I'm getting all the opportunities out there. We'll have the opportunities out to you about what we'll be doing this summer. I hope you fully partake in that. I hope you were excited at the end of this year and hopefully ready to come out next year and even have a more successful season. Again, I want to thank Ozzy and Brooke and Jada for 4 great years and appreciate all of their efforts. It was so fun to watch them grow both as players and as people over the course of the 4 years, and I know they're going to do great things. So thank you to everyone for listening.